So, anybody else want to share? Something you did, something you learned?
And I've been watching the old huddles because I'm not logging on like I'm supposed to. So I was just watching the one from the 21.
And what was that one about?
It's the improving seller skills.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
And then after this, I'm gonna watch the mortgage one. So I'm just trying to soak up some education.
I love that, Terry. I really do, because, you know, sometimes we do the morning huddle and even when you focus, there are things you miss. So to go back and watch it is absolutely valuable.
Yes.
I'm really glad you're doing that. Good example. Whoop, whoop. All right. Well, Bill's here.
Very good. It's building those habits. We can either choose to build a habit around being a real estate agent and all the skills and habits, you know, routines and habits you need for that, or we could kind of unintentionally do the opposite, where if we don't have a habit of speaking to people and learning and watching videos and taking notes and asking questions, whether we realize it or not, we build a habit of not being a real estate agent. And that just leads to, you know, not having the success that we're all aiming to have. So great job on that. Okay, Terry, I hear you got a script practice partner, and you've been doing lots of scripting, right?
Yes, Miss Marquia.
All right, can I put you on the spot? Role playing?
Sure.
Look at that.
All
I
right,
love it.
perfect. All right, how you participate in here is how you participate out there. So you're doing exactly what you should be doing. Okay, what would you like to practice today? You be the agent, and we'll find, you come up with the topic, and we'll find somebody who will be the prospect. And, you know, well, first of all, I want to thank you for volunteering, or sort of volunteering, I guess.
Being voluntold.
Yeah. And then what we'll all do is, you know, we'll all listen really carefully, and at the end we'll give you some comments on you know, what we think you did really well and what areas that we think you could tweak slightly. So you know, there's no judgment here. We're all here to make each other better. Okay. Okay, what is the topic that you would like to discuss today?
Okay, so I am working on my GPS. And so for my number one priority for next year, it's to actually purchase a home. And one of my strategies to do that is to hold open houses. So I kind of want to get where I can contact other agents and try to hold their homes open. So can we do that as a scenario?
Yeah, and
yeah, of course.
Bill, just so you know, what I've suggested to everyone is that they have a value proposition for the listing agent, since the listing agent is responsible to the seller. So it's what I will do that differentiates me from other agents, because I realize that this isn't just about me getting leads, it's about feedback for the seller and putting the house in the best possible light. So that's what we've been talking about. And I know that's kind of where Taria is probably going to go. I just wanted to give you a background on that.
Yeah, first of all, I think that's incredible. And there's a video from not too long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where we did a Drew Patrick, who's one of our productivity coaching peers. He basically explained his entire process for this. So you want to go back and watch that video as well.
On YouTube?
Yeah, it's on the same channel you've been looking at. Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was on a Wednesday, if that helps, because I know we it was a day of bold. Okay, cool. So I'll be the agent. You want to call me? Okay.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, this is Terry. Is Bill around?
This is Bill. How can I help you?
Hi. I'm actually trying to find out how I can help you. So I'm a new agent at the Keller Williams Roswell office, and I'm actually just trying to call different agents to see if I can take maybe a showing off your plate. Would that sound like something that could help you?
Yeah, like, what do you mean? To show property for me?
Yes. If you
Okay.
have some homes to hold open on the weekend and you maybe want to spend a little extra time with your family, I'm definitely available to help you with that.
Oh, wow. I got to tell you, you must be in the coaching program. That's pretty awesome, huh?
I actually am. I have really great mentors.
Okay. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to have a new listing coming up in a couple of days, and I would like to spend a little extra time with my family that weekend. Maybe, have you done open houses before? Like, tell me a little bit more about, your background, your experience and stuff.
I actually have not. This is a new strategy for me. So I've really I'm actually right now in the process of just contacting agents. So I have ordered all of my signs, and I'll use my social media to go ahead and promote it. And I know that one of the things that they told me in coaching was to make sure that I research the neighborhood and know what's going on. So if you give me the address of the listing, I can go ahead and do that and put some paperwork together.
Yeah, sure. Do you like need me to give you signs and that kind of stuff, or do you have all that stuff in place already?
I've ordered some, but it's, the more advertisement there is, the more eyes we'll have in the property.
Okay.
So if you have some, we can both put some out.
So it'll be on a lockbox in a couple of days. Do you want to go in there a little early and preview it so you kind of get familiar with the home and all that?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay. What day do you want to host it open?
I would actually like to do Saturday and Sunday if that's possible.
Yeah, we could do that. Do you have a certain time in mind?
Saturday we can do 3 to 5, and then on Sunday we can catch the church crowd, so we can go from about 1 to 4.
Okay, perfect. So do you let's see, what else should I ask you? Do you do any like door knocking or putting out flyers or any of that kind of thing?
Yes, I'll door knock in their neighborhood, and then also I'll door knock in my neighborhood just to see, if anyone may be interested, just because it's close to my house, and then that one's closer to their house. So just to get all the neighbors involved.
Okay. So what do you want to do next? Should I call you in a couple of days when everything's buttoned up and then we can go over the details then?
Yes, if you're available for lunch, we could do that as well.
Oh, you want to take me to lunch?
Yes, of course. You're allowing me to hold your house open.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. So I'll call you in a couple of days and we'll make that happen.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Candace, you want to start?
Yeah, overall, great job. I loved you were lively and you were smiling, and even if I hadn't seen you, I would have known you were happy and enjoying what you were doing. So that was very attractive to me. You initially said you had the signs, or you ordered signs. You backed up being new by saying that you had mentors. And you offered to advertise it on social media. You offered to hold it 2 days, which is a bonus, and to have paperwork done. What I'd like to see, probably for somebody like Bill, and this is probably a little more advanced, are bullet points of what you'll offer. And you did it very nicely conversationally, but some bullet points of here's some of the things you can, because agents are busy, right? And so agents are busy. So if you did bullet points like, here's some of the things you can expect from me, I'll put signs out. I would also offer, if the agent offers that they have signs, I would offer to put those out, and not say, oh, you can put yours out and I'll put mine out, because that's kind of defeating the purpose of them having time with their family. Yeah, I would just go over bullet points of your value proposition, your social media. You're going to have paperwork ready in case somebody wants to write an offer then and there. You're going to door knock in 2 neighborhoods and invite them to the open house. Add those things like I'll bring a candle, I'll make sure music is playing, I'll turn on all the lights, show the house the best it can be. And then when I'm finished, I'll make sure all the lights are turned off and the doors are locked. And I'll give you feedback before I leave for the day. Because the seller is back there going, what are they saying about my house, especially if it's a new listing?
Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention that.
Otherwise, really good.
Yeah, so I think that's great advice. I love the bullet point list, as you would probably imagine. I'm just going to tell you my initial feeling, and I'm not trying to, don't take this the wrong way, but it was like a tiny bit informal at the beginning. Like, is Bill around?
Is Bill around? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
And if it is a agent in Georgia Legacy Group, then I think what you said is okay with, like, I'm a newer agent out of the Roswell office. But if the person is in Roswell, then I would just say, hey, I'm a new agent at your office.
Okay.
I'm getting in the weeds here, but like,
that's fine.
We want to make people want to, as fast as possible, you're going to build rapport by finding things that you have in common with that person. So if they know that you're a member of the same office that they are, then you don't have to say, like, I'm in Keller Williams Realty Consultants in Roswell. So are they. Just say, hey, I'm a new agent at your market center. Or the market center, right? And then there was one more kind of sort of informal phrase where you said something like, you confused me a little bit, because the first time you said, do you have any showings that you want to take off your plate? And I thought you were kind of asking, do you want me to be do you want to be a showing agent, or like I pay you to open some doors or something like that on occasion. And then the next time you mentioned, you phrased it like an open house. So I was a little confused there. And then you said, like, off your plate or something. There was just a couple of phrases that were like a little bit informal that I would probably tweak slightly.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
I think once you take a few minutes to create that bullet point list, that call will sound totally different.
Yeah.
And it's great, but you can make it even greater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
And I have to say, so many times when people role play, they get so nervous they forget to smile and be themselves. And I loved how you were able to get your personality across. Because I was sitting here smiling, going, "Oh, she's so delightful. I wouldn't want to work with her."
Good morning, Mr. Hold on.
Working and role playing.
Yeah,
that's dual career.
Overall, very, very, very good there. I think that personally, while I'd love to be taken out for lunch, I don't know if that's, I would probably start with like coffee invitation, or like, hey, can I stop by your office or something, where you don't have to go lay out, $50 to meet somebody, right? To buy, or $20 or whatever lunch would cost. You know what I mean? Okay. And then the other thing I would, I answered the question as if I had a listing coming, right? If you had like looked on MLS and identified the fact that I had a listing, and that you were calling me specifically about that listing, you see what I'm saying? Like, hey, congratulations, I see you have a new listing on Main Street. Would you like to spend some time with your family this weekend? I would like to hold it open for you and your client, right?
Okay.
Then once I have the listing, maybe just take a minute to say, oh my gosh, congratulations, or something like that. Or if it's online, maybe scan through the pictures and say, oh my gosh, what a great backyard, or something like that. Make sure they know that you're just not like totally randomly calling, and that there's been like a moment or two of intentionality around looking at that particular property.
Okay.
Makes sense? But
and
all this
Terry,
stuff is just having it all like kind of, all these concepts, and you're ready depending on how the conversation goes. So I took it one way where what I just said wasn't applicable, but in the future it might be.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know this because we haven't talked about this, but one of the things I might clarify is do you have a flyer that you'd like me to post on social media because that'll brand that agent? Or would you like for me to create a flyer?
Okay.
A lot of times agents have flyers around their homes and then you don't have to do that work, and it just, it'll brand them, and it's still the same thing. You still get the leads when you do the open house.
Okay.
And sometimes they have an editable flyer where you can brand yourself. Some agents don't care about that. They're like, oh, take the open house and whatever you have, that's great.
Okay.
Wait, let me make sure I heard that right, Candace. Were you suggesting like a kind of like a one sheet that says like, this is who I am, this is how to reach me, this is, what I'd like to do, and how the essentially like a flyer, almost like a personalized flyer with your bullet points? That's a great idea.
Yeah. So Churchill does that. They'll do one that's a flyer for the house to print, and they'll do one that's for posting on social media, that's formatted for social media. So that's what I use, and people can use that. And a lot of agents are using Churchill Group, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe that's something Andrew can do.
I would suspect that he could. Exactly. Great work there. Great. Anyone have any questions or comments? Anyone?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So essentially hosting the open house for another agent, I didn't know you could fill. Can you stop it? It leads. I didn't know you were like, so basically you can do some lead generation at someone else's open house.
Right. So basically what is happening is the open house is kind of a I want to say excuse, but I don't want to say excuse. It's like a carrot that you take advantage of so that you get a chance to meet people that are looking at homes, right? Oftentimes people that come to open houses are unrepresented, right? And they're curious, or their neighbors or whatever, because if I wanted to see the home and I had an agent, then I'd just go tell them, I'd go look at the home whenever it was convenient for me, right? So if somebody's going to wait until an open house and just randomly come in, it's oftentimes the sign of somebody who does not have a real estate agent, right? Sure. And so it's a win-win for everybody, because the seller gets more exposure because the home is being held open. The listing agent gets, kind of props, so to speak, for additional marketing and creating more opportunity for everyone involved. And an agent gets a win because they have an opportunity to kind of be the face at the event, right? And anyone that comes in, you're going to ask questions to try to figure out, hey, what can I do to assist you in this process? Let me answer any questions that you may have. Is there any need for follow-up? These kind of things. And then that gives you an opportunity to make some money, right? To build your database. Oftentimes, exactly like Tyria said, some agents don't want to hold open houses. They don't want to sit at a house and wait for random people to come in, right? And they want to be off doing something different, right? Maybe it's real estate, maybe it's not real estate, right? And open houses are a great way oftentimes for agents that don't have huge businesses to grow their database and to get some comfort and to learn the market and these kind of things. So oftentimes it's when you have some kind of reason, if you will, right, to interact with the public, it can kind of make it a little bit more comfortable for people. Like if I'm going to randomly call you and say, hey, there was a home that just sold in your neighborhood, I wanted to know if there's anything I could do for you. There's not much there. I mean, it's about as cold of a call as you can get, right? I'm not saying it doesn't work, but if you're at the home, it's a lot warmer. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Meeting people face to face in the seven levels of communication. That's the number one most impactful way, is face to face, and you get that in an open house. And Antoine, and for anybody else who hasn't seen it and is wanting to know more, look at that video that we did of the morning huddle with Drew Patrick that was a couple of weeks ago on a Wednesday that Bill just referenced. That is his main lead gen strategy. He door knocks around his open houses, and he is doing quite well. And I can tell you another story. I had a listing that needed some love, and I was letting people hold it open because it was sitting on the market. And Julian held it open, and a couple came in and they needed to buy and sell, and that was about a $30,000 gain for him. So, but I will say there are some open houses. I've heard people in coaching, I've heard people say there were like 20 people at a time coming through this open house. We couldn't even talk to them all. And then there had been times when I've heard people go, well, I sat there all day and nobody showed up. So just know that be prepared to have a plan B so that you can do some work or something productive instead of walking around the house waiting, because you'll look more professional when people walk in. And also just in case somebody doesn't come in or you have a dud open house, then you've got something productive that you can do with your time.
That's exactly right. And don't forget that you are representing the seller and the other agent and Keller Williams, of course. So, you need to dress appropriately. You need to be on time. You need to have your facts straight. Like, don't just show up. Don't roll in 5 minutes before the open house comes in and expect it to be a party. Like, the reaction you get is going to be very much dependent on how much effort you put in ahead of time.
And there are scripts around how to greet people as they come into open houses. They did. We had a class on it, and I'm sure it was recorded in video in the training center. But it was how agents greet people when they walk into the open houses, how they ask for their information, how they make sure that they're find out if they're working for instance, instead of saying, "Are you working with a realtor?" If they write down on their form working with a realtor, a lot of people use a contact form, a feedback form for the person to sign in. Melissa Guy has an app that she uses where they sign in on the app, but it's often great to say if they say they have a realtor, you can say, "Oh, who is it? I might know who it is." And then if they're like, "Oh, Bob," you probably can follow up with them.
Right. Or you, instead of saying, "Do you have a realtor?" say, "Who is your realtor?"
Yeah.
So that implies that they need one, but it also puts them on the spot where they better name that person, and they better name them fast, or I'm going to know they're lying. And then they will never hear the end of me.
Really?
They will be on my database until one of us dies. I swear to you.
Text me every week.
What?
I have
I'm
a
serious.
question.
I'm dead serious, y'all.
Could we make like a landing page for, like, say there's a QR code that you scan, and when you scan it, it's the page to put your contact information in and who you're working with at the open house?
Sure.
And is it something like we would have to make a Google page, like a forms, or do we have something?
I would reach out to Melissa Guy,
Okay.
who's in our group, because I believe she's done a lot of this research, and whatever she's using right now in terms of this app is probably what she has discovered is the most efficient and the cleanest way to do it. So I would inquire with her first.
Okay.
The generalized idea is whatever creative ideas you come up with, like the one you just came up with, you could do. You just make sure that you're not breaking any rules. Make sure that there's no fair housing challenges or anything like that. The rule of thumb that I would give you is make it easy, right? Everyone wants it. They didn't come to the open house to sign in. They came to the open house to talk to you. So, or to see the home, right? So don't, make it as casual as possible and make it as easy as possible.
And just this is the way that I think about it. When I'm shopping, I don't want somebody hovering. So I always give people the choice. When I hold open houses, I'll say, would you like for me to walk around with you and point out some features you may not see? Or would you prefer to experience the house on your own and then ask questions when you come back to the kitchen? And sometimes they want you to walk around and sometimes they don't. And that's okay. So just give them the choice. The other thing you can do is, in order to make sure that you get accurate contact information, you can partner with one of our vendors to do a $50 gift card, and say, I'm giving away a $50 gift card for everyone who signs in, and make sure I have your accurate information so I can contact you to let you know if you're the winner. And that way you can contact them afterwards. People can be very hesitant about giving their information because they just don't want to be bombarded and they think we're going to call and sell them. And they don't know that, we're not like that. So
Right.
the incentive to help them get give their information can sometimes help with that. And the other thing that's important to do is if they write down their name and their phone number, and they don't want to write down like their address or their email address, ask them to say, what city do you live in? Because then you can look them up on True People Search. But you have to know what city they live in. I mean, if you look up Harvey Jones in Atlanta, you're going to get 50 million of them. And I would probably jot down an age range if I can, because that's also, you'll see, I looked up one of my past clients yesterday, and I was so grateful. I know he's about 56, and that's the one that I needed because there were a bunch of them, all different ages.
Yeah, like Candace said, if you got something to share with them, then they're willing to barter.
Yeah.
I'll give you this stuff, you give me your contact information. If you don't have anything to barter, then you're hoping that they give it to you out of the kindness of their heart.
When we get more homes on the market, maybe in 2023, one of the things you can do is a Sunday tour of homes where you can partner with other agents in the community, and all of you hold your homes open on the same day, whether they're Keller Williams or not, and you all give a little bit of money and get a $100 gift card. And the people who go to every single house and sign in are eligible for the drawing for the gift card. What the key to that is, you need to be the one who follows up the fastest and the best, because that's leads, one lead being shared by a whole bunch of people, but you can win those leads by have your thank you notes right there that you can write them as soon as people leave the house so you don't get home and get distracted. Make sure you've got your supplies there so you can do your follow-up right then and there. And the other thing I was going to say is, sometimes if you have a home where it looks like there's going to be a lot of traffic, and the agent listing the house can probably help you with that. You might ask a lender to be present with you for at least an hour, and that way when people come in, they can ask questions.
Or another agent.
Yeah, or another
right?
agent.
If you're in an area of town that you don't feel comfortable, or like Candace said, there's gonna be a ton of people. I got a call from somebody the other day, not in productivity coaching, that described a situation that she found herself in at an open house that scared the crap out of me, to be honest. So like, you just got to be aware, right? You're basically saying, I'm potentially going to be alone in a house, right, between this time and this time. And by the way, here's my glamour shot. I'm really pretty, right? So you just got to be careful. You see what I'm saying? Just be aware that there's crazy people.
Okay, good.
Does that make sense? I don't mean to scare you guys, but it's reality.
Yeah, teamwork is great, and just the other thing that I think is, I have had agents twice in the past like 10 years who held an open house for me and sold the house to a buyer that walked in, wrote the contract right there in the house. So make sure you have your paperwork with you. Be ready, be a professional, have your tools ready. So if somebody says, this is it, I'm ready to go, you can represent that buyer, and you can write that offer right then and there.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Like this. I have one more question.
Yeah.
During the role play call, when Terry said that she had signs to put up, what signs would those be if it is another agent's listing? Is it just open house signs? Is that what she was referring to?
I would assume that she was referring to like directionals and that kind of stuff, right? Open house this way.
Okay.
You can, as you get going, have them branded, your own branded open house signs that say Antoine Galley and your phone number on them. And then they say open house with an arrow. For new agents who are just getting started, I keep 3 in my office that are just open house directionals. You can always borrow those. You just have to bring them back in case somebody else needs them.
Okay.
Cool.
But so I can put the ones with my name on them out now,
Yes.
though.
Yep. You're holding the open house. You get the credit.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, anyone else have any questions about open houses or feedback on how that conversation went?
I think it was great. But me personally, I mean, I don't mind making calls, like trying to get contacts and build my database. But I'm a people person. I like to talk face to face. I definitely would like to get up and attend some open houses and see how the pros do it and get some tips and tricks and definitely add that to my repertoire of lead gen.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Does anyone else want to do we have time for another really quick one? Lorinda, you keep taking yourself on and off the mute. It sounds like
Because
you
I'm okay.
sounds
So
like you
yeah,
want to do some role play.
okay, I can do role play, but I was answering. I was gonna say that I really liked her bubbleness and I liked her improv of some of the items that she was saying. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. Oh, that's cute. Oh, I like that. I know that you said a couple of them may be informal, but I like the idea behind it. So I would just have to wordsmith it to make it less informal. But I thought she did a real great job thinking on her feet. Even if she wasn't thinking on her feet, like if she committed to memory, it came off like she was just thinking on her feet. So I really like that.
Yeah, 100%. Agree with that. Okay, let's see. All right, Lorinda, what do you want to focus on today?
New buyer.
New buyer. In what
Yes.
phase of that would you like to do?
Okay, so yesterday, I met a client who was in the market to sell his property. Well, no, I take it back. He's in the market to buy, but he is, I don't even know how to explain it. So let me just throw it out there. He's working with an agent that he's dissatisfied in, but they're only in talks. He hasn't signed anything with anybody, but this other agent has been sending him stuff, but he hasn't signed off with the person. And so his thing was like, he feels kind of loyal to that person. And I feel like I may be stepping on toes, even though they haven't signed an agreement. And I guess I don't have a role play for that scenario. I just want to, I guess, make a role play for that scenario because we hadn't really talked about it. So I don't know how what do I do with that?
You want me to take this, Bill?
Yeah, sure. I could give you my thoughts, but go ahead, please.
They're probably going to be the same. I would say, what's his name?
John.
John, as you're evaluating who's going to help you with this very important purchase, I hope that you're interviewing agents, and I would love to be one of those agents that you interview. Since he hasn't signed, there's some hesitation there. I'd never step on anybody's feet if they've signed.
No, definitely that.
Yeah, but I would probably give him the suggestion of, as you're evaluating realtors for this very important purchase, I'd love to be able to interview with you for that position as well. Let you see what I can do for you. Because you've got a lot of things maybe this agent doesn't have, like Ribbon Homes, where he can be a cash buyer, Keller Offers, where if he needs a mortgage, he can save a ton of money, or Shelter, where they can get him through underwriting so he can compete as a cash buyer. So you maybe 100% more than likely can provide more value.
Yeah, I ran across that in my calls yesterday. I don't know if you saw my post, but that was one of the ones that I ran across.
Bill's gonna say, wrong, Candace. Go ahead.
No, that's no, I think you're right, but I would go a lot further, which is I would ask, let's just take a step back from this and remove all of ourselves from all of these roles. This is a person who is not impressed with a professional yet feels loyal. Like, how, that sounds ridiculous to me, right? So let's just acknowledge how silly that sounds for a second. Okay. Then let's put ourselves back into the situations that we're in. And I would ask the person, hey, it sounds like you've got some reservations about moving forward with this person. Tell me more about that. Right. Now, again, the very, very important point to go on the record. If they have signed documents, it's over.
I know that.
But if they have not signed documents, it's on. Okay. It's like competition. Okay. Always.
And I will tell you, Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, because you're probably going to give me more context.
Right. So the reason he said he was loyal, or at least what I took from it, is like, well, she's been sending him listings for the last 6 or 7 months. And so they've had communication. He's just, when he asks things about the listing or asks about him, it seems like she's wishy-washy with getting back to me in a couple of days or something like that. So that's why he said he felt loyal, because she's been sending him stuff. They have been communicating, I'm like, but she's not giving you everything that you need. You know, quick responses, quick communication. And so now I know how to go back and say, well, hey, this is what I can do. And let's see, you know, I'll ask about the interviewing process to see how, you know, he can break that loyalty. But that was why he said, I said he was loyal. Because he was like, he didn't want to really move on because, you know.
Again, let's take ourselves out of the roles that we're in for a moment.
Yes.
Do you know how this is happening? This person spent 3 seconds 10 months ago putting them on some drip, and they haven't done squat since then.
Mhm.
Okay. So they should be more loyal to the piece of software than to that agent. Okay. Now, let's put ourselves back into the situation.
Okay.
And you push on the things that you have the most flexibility with. Okay. They're under the impression that this agent is just all on top of it.
Mhm.
And let's just let them be there for a second. Okay. So let's talk about what they're not doing. So Lorinda, it sounds like you're having some hesitations around working with this agent, and the things that you're most concerned about, as far as I'm hearing, is just a inability to get back to you quickly. Is that correct?
Yes.
What else is going on? What tell me more about that situation.
Okay, so initially I told her some of the things that I was looking for and where I wanted to go. And it seems like some of the listings that come through, they may be in the price point, but not have, you know, all of the features, or at least half of the features that I asked about. The sizing's off, and then a couple of them, they were in a different area that I totally didn't ask for. But they were in the price point and had size and, you know, bedrooms and baths, but for some reason they weren't in the area I was asking about.
Interesting. So have you mentioned that problem to the other agent?
Well, I did reach out to her and left her a voicemail, but I haven't, you know, we're kind of playing telephone tag, I guess. More tag on my side than her side.
Lorinda, can I share a real big concern?
Oh, sure, please.
So in today's market, particularly as a buyer, a well-priced home on average is going to go under contract in less than a week, 4 or 5 days really.
Wow.
And my biggest concern is, if there was one of those homes that you wanted to see, I don't know that you would be able to get all the information you need and go see the home and write it up and get it negotiated properly and win it. Do you have confidence that that agent would be able to pull that off within a day or two, so that it would increase the chances of you winning and getting the home for your family?
No. No.
Okay.
Not that I've seen from her yet. No.
It sounds like we should meet, because I think you need a bit of a more assertive agent. Do you agree?
Yes,
Okay, great.
And
When
there's
do you want to meet?
I like that.
And there's something else that I think is going on. And if this agent has been sending him listings for 6 or 7 months and he hasn't pulled the trigger, this agent is probably thinking, well, this isn't an urgent buyer. I'm just going to let it ride. And then when he raises his hands and says, I want to buy, I'll get busy. So I would be definitely wanting to establish his motivation, because you don't want to be the one who's sending him things for 6 to 7 months, because it sounds like what he's wanting is, my initial thought was, well, I would wow him. I would find a listing that meets his criteria, or a couple of listings. I would pull the seller's property disclosure, the community association disclosure. I would give him, I would look at absorption reports for the community. I would wow him with what's not happening now. But you don't want to be doing that for 6 or 7 months.
Right.
You can if that's your only business, but it's not working smarter.
Okay.
Yes. The first thing I would do is create an insane amount of doubt. And
For the other agent. And then,
yes.
wow.
I don't want to say that guy is an idiot and he's not going to help you buy the home you want, which is really what I'd like to say. I want you to say, I'd like to share a concern with you that I have. This is an incredibly fast-moving market. You need somebody who's incredibly responsive. If you identify, or he identifies, a property for you, everyone's got to be all hands on deck. Do you have confidence that he would be all hands on deck? And you would say no and say,
Right.
well, it sounds like we should meet. Now, so I can prepare properly for our meeting, I've got a couple of questions for you. As you're pulling out your buyer intake sheet, how long have you been looking? Right? Have you seen anything you like? Right? What is the share some experiences about, positive experiences you've had with agents and negative experiences you've had with agents. How do I win with you? What is the most important thing that has to happen in this transaction for you to feel like it's a 10+ experience? Right?
Yes.
How quickly
Yes.
are you hoping to move in? Moving's a lot of hard work. What's got it on your radar? You see what I'm saying? So first you create doubt, then you do your intake sheet.
Okay.
Make sense?
It makes sense.
Okay. And this is how we put it all together, right? One of us has one idea, one of us is clarifying it a little bit, coach is dropping in a little bit of information, a coach with a little different approach and personality drops in a little different information. This is how we all learn. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful. All right, Lorinda, what is your one thing today?
To follow up using that script we just went over.
Okay, so at 9:30, when that's done, what is your next one thing?
Okay, so I wrote 2 offers yesterday, and so my
Nice.
client, yeah. So
Why are you being all shy? Why don't you yell that out at the beginning of the call?
No, because is it Takira? Who was speaking? Teria was speaking when we first came on, and so that's why I said yesterday. When I finished making my phone calls, I texted in the chat box to say, "Hey guys, I got 4 new contacts, and they're all going in the database, and then 2 of them are going in the pipeline." So one of the ones that no, I take it back. I did do that yesterday, but the person that wrote the offer is one of my buyers from Bold. I signed her during the Bold weeks, and so she's ready to. She made an offer on 1 property, and we're looking at a backup for a different property. So that's what I did.
Only write 1 offer at a time for 1 person, right?
Right. So I mean, we were thinking about the backup. We didn't write it. She was thinking about, okay, because there's 1 offer in front of her on the one that we wrote, but the agent said that she didn't really think that the finance was may fall through. They didn't seem like it was in place just yet, and so we're submitting for that one today. And then
okay, just 1 at a time, because you don't want to be even backup, right? You only want 1 signable offer out at once per client, unless they're happen to be investor or something, they're buying more than 1. Okay. All right, great work. Lakira, what is your one thing for today?
Actually, that conversation you guys just had about someone having an agent and not really wanting to work with that agent was helpful. I have a guy, he's looking for a property at 1.7, and he was already working with someone, but he felt like that person was too slow, so he kind of asked me to help. But
make sure they don't have a contract though.
Yeah, as far as I know, he said he was ending the contract, but I didn't want to be the one to push it, so I kind of left it alone.
So wait, say that one more time. He said he's going to kill the contract. Is that what you said?
Yeah, he said that he didn't want to work with him anymore.
Okay, so I would find a real pretty 1.7 house and send it to him and say, hey, I saw this and I thought of you. Are you officially out of relationship with that agent? Because I'm ready to get started.
Okay. Well, so one of them was a house that he was looking to put the money in on, but he felt like the offer should have been 1.2 because he thought the house needed a lot of work. So he said he would buy it for 1.2 and then put $500K into it. And then he ended up paying an architect $9,000 to draw up a design for a house to put on some land and have custom built. So I didn't want to go sending him things, and I didn't really know exactly what he wanted to do yet, because it seemed like he had 2 different options or plans.
So I would call him up and say, hey, it would be an honor to begin working with you, but I can only do that when I know that you're out of the relationship officially. What should I be working on to help you today?
Okay, got you.
Right.
Yep, I will do that. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful work. Teria, what is your one thing for today? Okay, it looks like she's on the phone. Antoine.
Yes, my one thing today is to do as much research and get as much as possible on open houses and make my 20 calls today.
Okay, 20 contacts, not just calls.
Okay, 20 contacts, yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Ginny.
Lead generation.
Okay. Look, you got anything more specific than that?
Yeah, I guess working on my database.
Both of those are very
I'm learning more
vague.
about.
How about I will talk to 15 people and add 5 to my database or something like that. Because if you just say I'm going to work on my database and I'm going to lead gen, this is for everyone, not just directed at you. But then you're like, okay, well, I talked to one person and I kind of had a nice conversation. I think I lead generated today. Back to the TV, right? So like, give it an honest day's work, right? Come up with a number and don't stop until the number's done. See what I'm
Well, my
saying?
number, I guess, is it's supposed to be 12 contacts at least. So.
Okay, supposed to be 12 makes it seem like it's insurmountable. Say, I'm committed to do 12. That's like, whatever, I can do that. I'm not intimidated at all.
You've been knocking 20 out of the park.
Yeah, it's really about, the language we use is very important. It's supposed to be 12 means like 12's over here, I'm kind of over here, and I'm not really sure if it's going to happen. I'm committed to 12 is like, yeah, I'll have 12 done by lunch. No big deal. That's how I roll. That's what work looks like. I'm a worker. That's it. End of discussion.
Okay, so I'm committed to 12.
All right. Now we're talking. Okay, beautiful. Quite frankly, I don't care if you commit to 1. I just want you to have something in mind and win. We need a win so we can move on and win again. You see what I'm saying? Great job. I'm glad you said 12. Okay, Tyria says she's going to educate herself. And my suggestion to you would be try to be a little bit more clear on what that means, right? Does that mean an hour worth of watching videos? Does that mean you're going to take some notes? Does that mean you're going to practice on somebody or with somebody? Like, get a little bit more detailed. Candace, how about you?
Set 5 appointments.
5 appointments, man, good job.
You set 4 yesterday.
I did, man, but I don't want to lose to you. So I think I'm going to set more than you. That's my goal. So I'll be checking in with you all day to see how many you set so I can set more.
Okie doke.
A little competition never hurt anyone, right? There's a lot of people's lives that need to be changed out there.
That's right.
Am I right?
You're absolutely right.
All right, I appreciate you guys.
Setting so many appointments?
Say that one more time.
How are you guys setting so many appointments?
We're making the calls. I mean, I'm like today, what I'm referring to is calling people that are not at Keller Williams and talking to them about making their lives better, right? Helping them with their businesses, inviting them to an event, inviting them to speak to one of the leadership. I mean, the number of appointments, we don't have like a secret list or a secret script. The numbers happen because we make if the first number is big, like the number of dials or the number of conversations, then the next number is big, which is the number of people that agree to work with us or commit to speaking with us. Does that make sense?
Right, but I have made so many appointments. I mean, so many calls. Like, I try to do like 200 a day, and I don't even get that many appointments. So I'm just like, wait, how are you guys doing?
So I would we can chat about that offline. I would be shocked. I mean, I would be shocked and impressed if you're speaking to 200 people a day. That would
No,
be
it's not
insanely
200
talented.
people. It's 200 calls.
Okay, so then you have to examine who are the people you're calling. Where is that list coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the time of day too.
And maybe what you're saying or what you're not saying.
Yeah, most of the time I don't get a lot of answers. So I try to adjust time of day. I tried early mornings and I tried afternoons.
Well, who are the people? What is the list?
It's just cold calling.
But from what? Like circle prospecting?
Oh, yeah, circle prospecting.
Okay. I think I would just continue to experiment with it. I'd maybe look, are you getting, did you get the list from me, from Cole?
No, actually, I probably should.
Where's the list from?
Vulcan,
Well, Vulcan's for sale by owners and expires. You should be
but you
getting,
can do neighborhood searches too.
okay,
I
that's,
called them and asked them how to walk me through it, and so they did. Baby,
send me that information and I'll send you a list and maybe the information will be slightly better. I would say on average, when you're strictly cold calling, circle prospecting, you're probably looking at around 10% of the people that you dial, you'll talk to. And around 10% of the people that you talk to will be willing to have a future conversation with you. So that means you have 100 dials to add one person to the database. Now you could do 100 dials in, probably an hour if you were on some form of a dialer, right? But if you're not, if you're going to be calling anywhere close to 200 people a day or trying to, I would encourage you to have a dialer.
Well, I am on a dialer. Vulcan has a dialer.
Right. So maybe we can chat a little bit about what scripts you're using and the approach, and just continue to flip it around with the times a day.
Baby. Okay. Yeah.
All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Tomorrow.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody.